In January of 2015, we had our first miscarriage. It was really hard, to say the least. It wasn't very far along. It was only 6.5 weeks when we found out that we lost the baby. And I had to have a surgery to prepare my body to start trying again for another baby. We got pregnant again that summer, and in June we found out that we had another miscarriage.
We went to get an ultrasound because she was having the same symptoms as the first time from the first miscarriage. And so we called the doctor right away, and we went to get an ultrasound for her. And she's an ultrasound technician, and so she can kind of see what's going on screen. And she, while they were scanning her, she looked over at me and she kind of just shook her head because she wasn't seeing anything there. And it was really difficult. It was very heartbreaking for both of us because this was the second time that we had gone through this. And a lot of people would try to comfort us by saying, like, this is more common than you hear about, and this actually happens to a lot of couples. But that we wanted that baby, you know, we've been wanting to be parents since we first got married. So it was difficult, and we did receive a lot of love and support from everybody else. But
we had a D&C to prepare my body to try again. So after the second miscarriage, we were ready to try again, and we were really desperate to have a baby of our own. We were a little concerned when my body wasn't regulating itself, and before I started taking hormones to get back on track, I decided to take a pregnancy test. And this was about 5 or 6 weeks after the D&C. It was a good thing I did take the pregnancy test because it was positive. And we didn't know if it was, a false positive and just leftover hormones from after the D&C, or if it was, possibly another pregnancy that happened quickly, I guess. So to be sure, I called up one of my friends from school, and she had us come into her work so she could give me an ultrasound. We didn't know what to expect when we went in there, but as soon as she put the probe down on my stomach, I kind of lost my breath for a second, and I looked over at her, and we knew right away that what we were witnessing was something crazy. We didn't see a brand new pregnancy like we might have expected if everything was going well, but what we saw was even better. We saw a
baby. It was a 12-week-old baby.
I don't like how I said that.
No, it's good. It's good. We saw a 12-week-old baby that was in there just moving around, rolling, dancing, fingers, feet. It was weird. I didn't see it at first like they did.
He didn't know what we were looking at, why we were so surprised. And then we told him, I was really far along, a lot farther than I should have been. And it was at that point that we realized I didn't miscarry. And the baby survived the D&C and everything, and I was 12 weeks along at that point, and
that's crazy.
We were so surprised.
Yeah, we don't know how the baby survived the surgery.
Everything happened the way it was supposed to, though, because if they would have done the D&C differently, then the baby wouldn't have survived. If I would have maybe started my hormones to start my cycle again without taking a pregnancy test first, who knows what would have happened. Maybe the baby wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, it was just crazy. Baby. Yeah.
So right away we ended up calling Heath's mom and told her, and she didn't believe us.
She was confused.
We didn't hardly believe it ourselves, Our families were so excited for us when we told them, and when we showed them the ultrasound pictures, they couldn't believe it. I had probably the easiest pregnancy I could have imagined. I wasn't very sick at all. On January 13th was a Wednesday. My water broke early in the morning, and I didn't really realize it at first, but quickly contractions started happening. They were 4 minutes apart right off the bat, and so we decided to go into the hospital. And I was 36 weeks and 5 days, and so it was really early and made me a little bit nervous. We got to the hospital and got all checked in around 10 o'clock. They couldn't even tell how dilated I was because his head was so low, and so they got me in right away. I only had to push for about an hour, and the baby was good and healthy and 6 pounds 11 ounces, so he was a lot bigger than I was expecting.
For a premature.
For a premature, technically premature.
How'd you feel when he first was in your arms?
How did you feel?
It was really cool. Probably one of the greatest feelings I've ever had in my life was holding my own child in my arms. I was a little nervous at first when the nurse asked, "Is the baby ready to see daddy?" I said no at first because he's just so fragile. I didn't want to break him. But it was a good moment. It was
Unforgettable.
Yeah, it was great.
We're so grateful to have Adam in our family now, and this whole experience has been such a testimony builder for me. I know that he's supposed to be with our family right now, and I know that Heavenly Father has a very specific plan for him and for us and our family.
And it's really easy when you go through tough trials to kind of question why. I guess I know you hear that all the time, but when big things happen to you, it makes it that much easier to wonder why these things are happening to you when you're trying to do the best you can to live your life in accordance with how Heavenly Father would have you live it. But like Katie said, like Heavenly Father does have a perfect plan for us, and sometimes we can't see it because we're nearsighted, but He sees everything from beginning to end. And I know that trial that we went through with the miscarriages was to help build us up, and we got to witness a miracle in our lives, something physical and concrete that we can say that we know is a miracle from Heavenly Father. And again, it's just such a great joy to be parents and to have Him in our lives. And
We're so grateful for our families and our friends and everyone who supported us when we were experiencing the hard times and the